Hello everyone and welcome to Tinker Time in Pennsylvania. My name's Josh, and today we're going to talk about having an indoor fish pond. Now the first thing you're going to ask is why would you want a pond indoors and not an aquarium? This could be for a variety of reasons, but in my case, I got the fish, we'll call it a rescue situation, and I want to put in a pond. But I felt that it was too late in the season to get an outdoor pond dug, lined, and a proper water circulation system installed. So what I did was I went to my local farm supply store and purchased a 150-gallon Rubbermaid stock tank. Now this tank is 39 inches by 59 inches and 2 feet deep. I briefly considered just digging a hole and burying it, but at 2 feet deep I wasn't sure it would make it through winter without freezing, and I did not want to take a chance of losing the fish. So I made room in my garage, installed the tank, and tried to make it as normal as possible for the fish so they will hopefully thrive until we can dig a larger pond and get them outside once spring arrives. So let's get started on what I did. I started off with lighting. I actually installed 2 separate lights on the indoor pond, and they both run off of separate timers. This is my first light. I call it my dawn and dusk light. It isn't very bright. It's a 4-watt LED that's 25-watt equivalent, and it runs for 12 hours a day. I believe it's around 260 lumens. It is also a soft bulb putting out light that is 2700K on the spectrum. This is to simulate the sunrise and sunset times of the day. So it's set up to come on and run for 2 hours before and after the bright light comes on. Here you can see what it looks like with only the small light on. Then we have our second light, what I call the daylight light. It's a 120-volt garage light, and as you can see, I have it suspended directly above the surface of the water. It's a 53-watt LED, 360-watt equivalent, and puts out 5,000 lumens of light that's 5,000K on the spectrum. This will run for 8 hours a day and is designed to simulate daylight. Originally, I didn't have this light, and the plants were starting to die. I figured it was just part of their life cycle as they die every year in the outdoor pond and come back in the spring. But once I put this light on daily, they really started to perk up and may actually make it through winter. The fish love this light, and shortly after it comes on, they all come to the surface and soak up the light. Once it runs for 8 hours, it will shut off, but the smaller light will remain on for an additional 2 hours to attempt to simulate sunset. Now I actually have these timers set up backwards, that the lights are on at night and also function as somewhat of a nightlight in my garage while serving their primary function of keeping the fish healthy. Next, we need to talk about water quality and keeping things healthy for the fish. I set up a pump and bubble system to keep the water moving and loaded with oxygen to keep the fish healthy. I have this small pump. I believe it moves around 120 gallons per hour at 1 foot lift. So I'm getting less than that as it is at the bottom of the tank and bringing the water up 2 feet. I have it at one end of the tank, removing water from the bottom and then dropping it back in on the surface at the other end of the tank. This creates a slow, gentle circulation of the water around the tank. I also have a simple air pump, just like you would use with an aquarium, pumping air through an air stone just to try to keep the oxygen level up in the water and keep the fish healthy. I generally try to feed them late in the evening, which would be morning for the fish. Once the bright light comes on, they generally surface, and that's when I try to feed them. I'm just feeding them a generic pond fish pellet, and occasionally I will toss in some koi food that is supposed to bring out their vibrant colors. They're a little spooked right now from me filming and moving pumps and lights, so I'm not sure if they're going to come up and eat like they normally do or not. General maintenance includes weekly water changes. Some water evaporates, but you don't want to just keep adding water, as that just concentrates the ammonia and other chemicals that are detrimental to the fish. What I do is open the garage door a few inches and feed 2 garden hoses under the door. I use one to start a siphon to start draining water from the tank. I try to make sure it is resting on the bottom of the tank to pick up any sludge or dirt I can from the bottom while it's siphoning. Then, once it is running good and drawing the water level down, I use the other hose to start adding fresh water to replace what I am removing. Once again, I try to do this on opposite ends of the tank, and I try to vary where I draw the water from week to week to get as much sludge from the bottom as I can. Any organic material left on the bottom of the tank will rot and produce ammonia, which is not good for healthy fish. I would estimate I remove and replace 30 to 35 gallons of water weekly, and will occasionally add a little in between changes if I think it starts to look a little low. So there you have it. This is my indoor fish pond. I've had it for a little over a month. The fish seem to be doing great, they're healthy, and I don't see any reason they won't thrive throughout the winter and be ready for their new home in the fish pond next spring. The digging and building of that pond will be a later video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll make some more videos.